Dave, first of all, could you? It seems like you guys have made second games these back to backs part of your DNA. Can you speak to that? And did you have previous numbers like this in your previous two coaching gigs?
I have no idea about that. Um, I like the way our guys prepare. The back to back, you just kind of you feel like you get into a rhythm, and we've got a few things that we do a little bit different as far as preparation and that, and back to back to not overload guys and go out and have a simple game plan, and we've been able to get some wins off it.
In your history, you've obviously dealt a lot with games in Montreal. This team has a really good record. I think Ryan Nugent Hopkins, Jack pointed out, as 8-1-1 in his career in Montreal. There's a lot of distractions in that town, and in and around Crescent Street in particular.
Not right now.
Can
Not right
you?
now. There's not.
Yeah, that's true. Can you explain? Uh, the focus this club has apparently had.
I don't know. There's different arenas depending on schedule and going to different places. Uh, just teams have a different feeling. I know, just back from being when I was a player, you go into the old original six places. There's a lot of it's the hockey atmosphere you get into, and it's contagious. So it's you get into a situation where somebody's phone's ringing. Uh, you get into a situation where it's just players like to play here. They're enthused to play here. A lot of times you got guys with family here, so it turns into a fun place to play.
Jason Gregor. Dave, in the past, you've talked about sometimes, when you pick your line combinations, it's, a lot of times maybe trying to send messages to other guys. And so I don't know if last night was one of those where, your second, third, and fourth lines, I don't know if you're challenging them because they responded to, all three lines had a much better performance last night than they had on Saturday.
Yeah.
Which one of those lines really stood out to you?
Well, I thought each of them were better. We tried tourists in there, and that line got us a goal. So you're looking to try to we were looking to try to balance things out a little bit with leaving Draisaitl and McDavid together. JJ's line was real solid for us. Archie got the goal, but we were looking for a real solid line that I could use for face-offs in our own end, and just really dug into some of the guts of the game. They were good, and Hosser and Ennis and Cassian gave us some pretty good shifts. So that group was definitely better. It was that was one of the the good parts of the game for us.
You saw Kyle Turris have to sit at home in quarantine for a week, and then he came back and like, hey, I got to give him some practice time to get his legs. The Canadiens' entire team has been off the ice. They had one practice last night.
Yeah.
How do you take advantage of that? Your team's been very good, especially when you score first this year. I think you have the second best winning percentage when you score first. Do you bring that up, Dave, as a coach? Like, that would seem in theory to be a big advantage just because they haven't practiced Christmas, legs, all that stuff.
Well, basically when we prepare for a team, you put yourself in their shoes and what they're thinking, and then we put ourselves in our shoes and what we're thinking. And they've been off for a week. They're going to come and play a real disciplined, hard, simple game. You have to recognize that. And for us, there's things that we have to get off to a good start. We have to play a real complete game and real disciplined game. Not let them dictate the play. So it's we've talked about that this morning in a meeting that how we have to prepare and recognize your opponent and go out and hopefully we can do enough things well to win a game. And it would be nice to come back from this trip the way it was set up, and it's kind of interrupted along the way, but we have an opportunity tonight to come back with 5 of 6 points and out of the trip, and that would be for a 10-day trip. You usually play more than that, but that would be kind of a nice step forward and get a day off tomorrow. So that would be our goal tonight, get the points and head home.
Your Matheson, Post Media.
Couple of things, Dave. Ethan Bear, how do you think his game is rounding into shape after a little bit of struggle during the season?
No, he's coming along. He's coming along. That pair of him and Russell. The first game in Toronto, wasn't their best game, but they were a lot better last night. But both of them are moving the right direction, and Bearsy especially is getting up to speed and getting going. And we knew he could get there, and we weren't asking for anything that he hasn't done before. So his game is getting up and going, and we need him to be a good player for us.
And Kara, I mean, in the division you're in, do you need him to be if he's going to be maybe a third setter because of his strength? Is that what you need? I mean, to say you happen to play Lowry, I mean, he's a big body. You need somebody like that in that
Well,
role.
JJ's a big, strong centerman, whether he's bottom six guy or whatever, but kills penalties, takes faceoffs for us. You need strength in your team. You need stability and strength. He's one of those guys that can bring that. And there's, you like to see him when he chips in on the scoreboard with points, but more of his role is directed of strength in the game and strength of the little parts of the game that there's little parts of the game that are not necessarily scored on the scoreboard, but scored on how the game develops and how you go about winning a game. And he's been a good player for us in that sense.
Jason Gregor.
Dave, I assume Koskinen's starting. Any other lineup changes?
Koskinen is going to start, and we'll probably go back with the same lineup as we had last night.
And can you talk about just your, the 5-on-5 play tonight? Montreal's one of the better teams 5-on-5. Their special teams is really where teams have taken advantage of them. What do you like about your team, Dave, in the last 2 months? Your 5-on-5 goals, you're under 2 against per game. I think you're second in the NHL in goals for. What's changed for your group in both ends, 5-on-5, the last 2 months?
Well, I think for the most part we've been better defending, and that defending part of it, real sound defending and doing a good job there, has led us to more offense. And it's when you defend very well, you get more transition chances, and part of defending well is playing more time in the other team's end, and we've done both of those things a lot better, and it's led to less goals against. And when you're playing more time in the offensive zone, you're going to get your opportunities to score. So just kind of a better all-round game. It's not necessarily better defending. There's some better offensive play that makes you defend less. So it's moving the right direction, but after these 2 games against Toronto, we gave up more chances than we would like to see. And so there's parts of our game that still have to improve.
Jim Matheson.
A couple of things, Dave. Were you very worried when Tyson Barrie got kicked in the face by Austin Matthews late in the game?
You know what? I didn't see it happen at the time, and then we got those monitors on the bench there. Look down. That could have been a real dangerous situation. So it's we got lucky. He the part of the skate that hit him, I think, was the flat part of the heel, and it wasn't the skate blade. So he's really lucky. That's a dangerous situation that, knock on wood, we came out of it all right.
And starting Darnell Nurse on the 3-on-3 as opposed to, say, Tyson Barrie, is that just feel? Because Barrie usually plays with Draisaitl and Connor on the power play on the point.
Yeah, that's just feel for your personnel.